My name is Paul Peterson. I was a chemist by training and worked in a laboratory all my life. I got my name on the patent for Cascade dishwasher compounds and Crest toothpaste with Procter & Gamble. And I got $1 for that. I was a member of a church that was very missions-minded. They had over 40 missionaries, which we contributed to the support of in various parts of the world. And I went on one trip and I got hooked on it. I loved it. I loved the work, to do physical work, because most of my work getting paid for, I was just thinking. This required a lot of physical work, and I enjoyed that and going to the various countries we went to. All the trips we were on worked with building schools or building facilities for missionaries or this type of thing that would give them an extra space to operate. All it was related to building the team, helping the missionaries, or helping the people we were doing this work for and ministering to them. So it was very rewarding to me to do that type of work. There were 3 trips to Venezuela. The first trip we built an addition to a Christian school, so it was a lot of masonry work. And Costa Rica, we built an outdoor atrium building for meetings in and that type of thing. And then this trip to Niger, the Sudan Interior Missions Hospital, Leprosy Hospital, and we built an addition to the leprosarium. And that's in an area which had no running water, no cement mixers, no electricity. We found out how to make concrete by mixing dirt with cement. And it was a cross-cultural experience to the extreme. A hot, arid country, and nomadic people, and are primitive in some of the rites they had. We witnessed the manhood rite to the Fulani tribe. Missionary there said, "You ought to go see this." So we did, and what the initiation was that when a boy thought he wanted to be a man, he had to go through a ritual. And the ritual was that he had, while they're drumming drums and everything else, the boys who had done the year or 2 before, they had long, slim, nice, whippy tree branches, and they had to bare their back, and the boys were whipped with these. It just opened the back. So these boys, and they had mirrors to make sure they weren't smiling or smiling, you know. And then the elders voted on whether they'd passed the test in order to be declared a man. They're nomadic people, so they move around all the time. They grew sugar cane. That was one of the nice treats. I learned that I cut off some sugar cane and chew on it because it was good energy supply. They had cows. The cows moved and sheep. They're herding people, but they didn't, except for growing some sugar cane, weren't in agriculturally, just in the animal type of farming. The way we did it, there were generators for the home that the missionary lived in and for the leprosarium. And they could hook, and they could move a couple of the generators, so we used that also where we could. But most of the things we had to do by physical means. Mixing with concrete with a shovel and with the dirt, and testing about what the viscosity was so we could use it for laying block versus laying a floor. And we had to go miles for water in 55-gallon drums, and because there were no wells in the area. It was just dry sub-Sahara Africa. So a lot of handicaps, and even in coming to the site where we were building, we were stopped by a rogue bandit team on the road, and they had us unload the van that we were in, and then they picked out a few things that they wanted and let us go after that. And they had AK-47s, So I didn't argue with them, but we didn't lose anything of extreme value. The leprosarium, it was just a big, like, warehouse building. It was the hospital. The cots were on the ground, and lights were bad. They had no skylights, so the addition we built, we put skylights in the roof. And but it was extreme conditions as far as trying to build something for materials. I had a young man I worked very well with, and he would supply, he'd bring up, but I need some more cement or more concrete to do certain things. He'd go down and make some more and bring it up. And he helped me lay some block and that type of thing. So it was a nice thing. He was a very nice young man. And he was about to get married in a year, so I had a good time working with him. And we went to a church service, which was a ultimate difference between the church service we were experiencing. It was very loud and different than what we're usually see in a worship service. I think we're probably in the leprosarium were 40 to 50 people. Now how that worked was that the whole family would come with the leprous member, and they would be given we'd call it a shack to live in while they were there, the rest of the family, and then the patient went into the hospital. So it was a whole family had to be taken care of. At the end of the trip, I had not been in the leprosarium. And the head nurse said, "Would you like to see the leprosarium?" And so we both said, yes, we would. And we walked in there, and there are people missing their fingers, missing their nose, and the smell from the rotting flesh, is what it really was almost overcoming. And these beautiful women who worked there, probably a lot of their life, were ministering to these people, on their knees with them. And we just walked through. We didn't say a word. But the younger fellow that I worked with as a mason, when we got through that building, we looked at each other and we both broke down. We both hugged each other. Our thoughts were the same. What have we suffered and what have we done with our life compared to these beautiful nurses who've cared for these people? So it was a tremendous experience, and let me think of how serious they've carried their faith in Christ to do this type of work. Carol and I have traveled broadly around the world, but that was the most important traveling I ever did in my life. And it really strengthened me spiritually too. You really see what's important.